Greetings, brothers and sisters. Today, I'm here to talk about the Demonic Pact. Now, the Demonic Pact has been referenced throughout traditional grimoires, very old grimoires, and sometimes the ritual operation for such a pact is very misleading. Now, I have actually encountered for many of my clients individuals who actually enter into a pact with a demon, and they cannot communicate with these entities. Now, this is counterproductive and counterintuitive. They write the pact like they would write a petition to a spirit, believing then that the spirit is going to keep its end of the bargain with some promises of offerings and blood and so on. While minimum success can be achieved for this, and I do mean very minimum success, it is very important that you have the ability to speak to spirits first, that you have the ability to at least perceive them in some shape or form. Plus, you can't go right in a pact. You have to see if the spirit actually agrees to the pact. Don't be fooled thinking that all spirits are going to agree. They are forces that have their own will and their own intelligence. Now, that being said, it is always good to evoke the entity. And you really have to think about before entering a demonic pact. The reason why is because you're turning your entire life, your entire welfare, your entire being into the hands of a devil right here. This can be dangerous. And at the same time, it can be very beneficial. The reason why it's dangerous is often because of the mistakes that the magician will make while forging the pact. You have to be very concise, very clear what you put in your pact. The duration of how long the pact was going to last is also very vital. How long are you going to do this with the spirit? Normally, when you're working with demonic pacts, for the duration of that pact, you will only contact that spirit, and that spirit only, unless you're contacting familiars or inferiors or other agents that come along with that spirit, and if the spirit says so. I'd also like to point out here that when turning such a massive part of yourself and your life into the hands of a demon, you are giving them ultimate control. Now, I have had moments where magicians say, well, I entered into a pact with Belial, or I entered into a pact with Azazel or Lucifer, and my entire life has been tipped upside down. What is going on here? I entered a pact for money, and all of a sudden I'm fired from my job. Well, you were probably fired to then give you the opportunity to get better work, or for you to realize that you have a skill and that you can apply this to the real world, but that dead-end job was holding you and keeping you, trapping you, and therefore the demon has now removed a barrier in your life. They don't think of things like how we would think about it, like, I have no money now, how am I going to survive? You are asking the demon to fulfill a task. And the demon, if it sees a blockage, it will destroy it. These are agents of chaos. They go in and completely obliterate that blockage, that barrier, and that obstacle. Here's another thing. People enter into pacts with demons, and then sometimes people may be removed from their lives. They may argue with a spouse and break up, and then they're on their knees wondering what the hell just happened. Like, I entered into a pact with this devil, with this demon, and now the person I love the most is suddenly gone. What I've seen a lot through having that experience myself is I didn't realize I was in a toxic relationship, and that the devil I was working with at the time, leading me out of that, allowed me to actually meet someone better, who fitted my life, who fitted what I was trying to achieve better, and somebody that I loved more. And so a lot of what happens sometimes when working with demons in such an intense degree can sometimes seem counterintuitive or counterproductive to the goal. But in actuality, they are setting things up for that goal to be achieved. Now, here's the thing. They will create opportunities and will align things in your life. You cannot sit on your ass, write out a pact, the demon agrees, and expect everything to fall into your lap. What I mean by this is these spirits work in laws in this universe, which govern this universe, for example, causality, the cause and effect. So if you want a better job, for example, don't think you can just have a demonic pact on the go and then still be working at your crappy job, or stuck in unemployment and just sat in the house. Like the spirits will bring you a situation, or will bring you opportunities, but you must do the work too. Now, what about something like Demonic Pact for love? Now, this is a very strange one, but I have encountered this. A demonic pact to get this person to fall in love with me. Not exactly a good idea, not a really good route to go down, but there are some people that do it. Anyway, I digress. A lot of people have come to me and said, well, now the person is ignoring me immediately. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you do? What did you do? Many of them say nothing, I waited. Many of them say, I waited too long. Here's the thing, you have to understand that the demon is setting up all these things, so causing alterations in the person slowly. Change your approach, adapt your methods of communicating with that person. You know, change everything. Don't go about it the same way. Now, here are a couple of warnings that I would tell you to put in your demonic pacts. Is realize that, and this is just true here, that you are working with demons. And that while they don't require a payment, it is always good to give them a token, an offering. The greatest token would be human blood, your own. However, you can give them other offerings too. Now, the physical pact, a lot of people think it's all down to the physical written pact. In actuality, it's not. So take your time when preparing the pact. The reason why is because the more you put into it, the more you're going to kind of get out of it. Because literally, just like, for example, taking out a sigil and scribbling it down quick, that's fine. That will work. But I've noticed you'll have a more potent effect when you take your time with sigil making. You know, so the same would go for creating your candles or anything that you put more time, more effort into, and are more patient with. You're actually, through that physical process, you're actually transferring a lot of your spiritual energy into it too. And you're putting a lot of intention and pushing a lot of your desire into the process of this as well. So take your time with the pact. So get like a piece of paper or piece of parchment, whatever it is, and write down the goal of the pact. Write it down as if you were writing almost an email to somebody. You know, for example, if I was to do this, and then I would say my name, call you forth, blah, 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 and to sign this pact and covenant with you for the duration of blah, 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 and then insert your desire. So, for example, to bring forth this vision that I have, to utilize all your power and all your spirits and all the things that you have at hand to ensure this manifests, and so on. You know, that's just an example. But be very careful what you write. If you want to put some things in there that you don't want to happen, you can do that. So I've seen a lot of people do that where they're writing pacts, you know, like do not do this in my life, do not do that in my life. I can tell you, you might be able to do it that way, and I've seen a couple of people do it that way, but it's going to take a lot longer, and normally it's a lot for the spirit to work around. However, if you just give the spirit your desire and you write on the pact with the vision in mind, write it carefully, how long you're going to work with it. Say something like, you know, I will forsake all other entities for the duration of the pact. I will only work with you and invest my time with you. That's fine. You can do that too. This is for like very intimate personal goals. Now, once the pact is written, you will put at the bottom of it two lines. This is what I do. I put 2 lines or 2 dotted lines, my signature and the signature of the spirit. Now, some of you may be thinking, what, the signature of the spirit? Really? Yes. Now, let me explain. When you're summoning forth the spirit, like you would scry almost into a medium or sigil to open it, or black mirror or whatever, do the same with the physical pact. And what you'll notice is that scrying mist or static rain or whatever will completely cover the pact. And what will happen is you will just ask the spirit to sign their signature upon the pact or something like that. And as this happens, you may see sometimes a full signature, or sometimes I've often seen spirits do glyphs, like a weird symbol, and that's the form of their signature. And what I'll do then is sometimes for my own personal use, I'll go over it with pen. That's not necessary, but that does seal the spiritual pact, the spiritual signature with physical ink, and it's something for you to focus on, sort of like just for memory's sakes, really. Now that the physical pact has been written, you can give parameters to this pact, how you want it to go, how you want things to look, and so on and so forth. Once that's done, you can actually, I suggest consecrating the actual paper. So what I do is I take the pact and I'll consecrate incense which is aligned with the spirit, okay? And I will light the incense once it's consecrated. And what will happen is, from the smoke of the incense, the energy of the spirit will actually rise through that smoke. And I'll hold it over the smoke. This isn't necessary, but this is all extra steps and extra processes to just literally funnel more desire, funnel more intent, funnel more energy, more devotion to this pact. And as I do that, it'll fumigate it, and it will energize the very physical and spiritual material of the pact, which is very cool. Now, you can, if you want to, you can at this point get a shield for your pact. Now, this is simple. What I suggest is you get, this is how I do it personally. I would take let's say I'm working with Azazel. I would take a cardboard cut out, and I would take a color which is associated to him, and I would get a cardboard cut out of that. So a piece of cardboard or cardboard-like paper that's, say, red or purple or whatever color you associate that spirit with, and then I would draw on it his sigil, and I would open the sigil, and as I open it, I would just enter into a meditation and allow those energies to leak out from the sigil, and I'll hold my hands over it, and I'll say a simple consecration, like, in the name of Azazel, I consecrate this paper, I consecrate this material, so on and so forth, to be a shield, to be a pact shield, to shield the energy of this pact, to shield it from all outside influences, all outside thoughts, all outside rituals, all outside spells, all spirits that will intervene, or, and so on. That's just an example, guys. And once you do that, the energy that is coming out of the sigil, you're actually programming it with intent. And what you can do is just a simple visualization of that actual energy emitting out from the sigil and covering that cardboard, that paper cardboard mesh, if you will. And then what you've got then is a pact shield. And you can place the paper onto the pact shield, and then you can take this into the ritual, evoke the entity, and when the entity rises and is summoned before you and manifest, you will bring forth the pact. Obviously, beforehand, you should have asked the spirit about this if it would ever be interested in working with you. I wouldn't necessarily go jumping into pacts with demons you've never worked with before. That's foolish. Now, you can bring your offerings too, while summoning the entity, a token of respect, a token of reverence. And when that entity is manifest before you, if the spirit agrees and has seen your pact, I'd also recommend you read it out loud. Read the pact out loud. Once you've read it out loud, what you can do then is you will sign your own signature, do your own signature, like that is you agreeing to the pact. A lot of people like to put the pact outwards, which is what I'll do sometimes. Wherever the spirit is manifest, I'll leave it on the ground near them. And then once I see the astral imprint of their signature, sometimes I'll go over this with pen. Then I'll take that and I'll roll it up, like almost into a scroll. Before that, I'll take an offering of like blood, and I'll put it on my signature and the signature of the spirit. And then if I've got any left, I'll actually put it on the pact shield where the sigil of the spirit is. So that's a feeding process. That's a thank you. So it's a catalyst for sealing the pact, which you should say something like, and with my blood, so this pact is sealed. Roll that up into a scroll-like thing. And what I like to do is I like to get a ribbon, which is also color associated to the entity. I'll tie that on there. And then what I'll do is I'll have a working area for that spirit. I'll have like a miniature altar for that spirit. And I will place that on the altar. And every now and then I'll go to that and I'll meditate on it. And I'll visualize what I'm trying to achieve. And as if I get any like desire building up within me, like I want this to happen, I want this to happen, I'll just breathe out and I'll push and I'll funnel that desire to the actual physical pact, like literally pumping that desire into the pact. And now it's not going to be touched by any environmental energy, but you are working with that pact. You are the creator of that pact, and therefore the only thing which can be funneled into that pact is what you and the spirit can funnel into it. Now, that being said, guys, now the physical pact is written, don't think everything's going to fall into your lap. I'd also suggest, asking the spirit, hey, what can we do here? Now this pact, then what can I physically do here in this world, which will ensure the pact is fulfilled, which will ensure that all things will manifest? And take word of what the spirit is saying. Allow the spirit to guide you, because this is a pact, is a working relationship. That's magic for you. You have to do some physical action to have that manifestation. Just like if you're trying to win the lottery, you got to buy a lottery ticket, right? You know what I mean? So this is just a basic rundown on demonic pacts. I hope this was enjoyable for you all. I hope you learned something here. And this is a very basic way to do it. And yeah, so brothers and sisters, this has been a video on demonic pacts. But like I said, take heed, take warning while doing your demonic pacts. Because, yeah, it can be dangerous, because a lot of us approach it in the most ridiculous of ways. So, yeah, goodbye for now.